Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
And I'm Aaron.
We're taking a look at the Palace of Mad King Ludwig, not to be confused with Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and also not to be confused with Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. This guy's got a lot of castles.
So the Palace of Mad King Ludwig is very disorganized. This palace, like, you're walking around, nothing makes sense, and that's because we're really bad at planning how we lay these rooms out. And that's actually what you're doing in this game. It's a tile laying game where you'll be purchasing rooms and putting them into play, and depending on what icons are on that room and the adjacent rooms, you may get swans from it, which are your currency. Like, he's mad. He trades swans as money. Like, I don't know. This game, it's crazy.
So we are all working together on this one castle, or palace. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
There's a difference.
There's a big difference. But every time we place a room, we put our tiny little token on it to say that that's ours, and, we'll get bonuses for completing them. So we get bonuses based on where we place them by connecting these two rooms together with the swans and stuff. And maybe if I connect to Aaron's room, he'll get a bonus for that too, but I also get bonuses once that room gets completed. So the game can be really nasty because completing a room means attaching doors to all the doors. Like, if this room has 3 doors on it, I attach a door to this one, a door to that one, and if I put another tile such that a wall is blocking this door, I will never ever get to complete that room. So this game can get real nasty real fast, because not only is everybody placing rooms so they could block other people, they're also playing, towards the end of the game, they're placing water tiles so they can block people off that way too. So this game can get real neat.
So like Tom said, you can place a tile to get a bonus. You get these swans if the colors match, or if one color and then a wild swan match up. And then the two rooms, depending on who's in them, if Tom's in one room and I'm in the other, we both get the reward. If I'm in both rooms, I only get the reward once.
Reward would just mean swans.
Yeah, the swan reward. And then once it's fully completed, that gives you points at the end of the game, or for some of them it actually gives you an immediate ability. But every room you place on the board, you actually mark it on your personal board. And you kind of like move one of your little icons up along the track. And once you've put enough of them onto the board, it'll give you a swan. If you complete, 5 of them, you get 10 victory points at the end of the game. If you complete one of each, so it's kind of like a set collection, you get 10 points. And so on, like, you can
30 if you do 2 of each, and 60 if you do 3 of each, because they stack. Those bonuses stack.
That's insane. Like, if you could do if you could just get everything up to 5 of each one, I guess you could do that in a 2-player game.
Maybe
you'd have to make sure that you're not surrounding everything in the moats at the end, because like that's where it really starts to grip down when we get. These piles start to run out, you're adding more water tiles to the board, and it really closes up the options you have.
Avalanches. Yeah. It just gets worse and worse.
Because every time a room is completed, that is when you possibly will add moats based on the amount that they're showing.
Yeah, and actually if these first 2 stacks are empty, you add 1 and 1, but then once I empty up this stack, that adds 2 more, and then game over. But 1, 2, 4, 6. You can add 6 tiles, so you could complete 2 rooms, but with like a placement, and then that'd be adding 12 tiles. Yeah, that's crazy.
It'll surround you really quickly if you're not watching out and you're not like building it out. You have to like kind of build sideways to keep the water from surrounding it. I don't know. It's hard to keep the water from rushing in. Like, I don't know. Don't build around this lake.
And I guess there could be a little bit of the luck of the draw, because at the very beginning you just have these 3 hallway pieces out there from which to build off of, and that's enough, definitely. But if there are a lot of like rooms that don't have a lot of other doorways out to them, like there's some rooms that just have one doorway in. The second I place that room is immediately closed. That may be good for scoring, but if everybody's doing that in the first couple of rounds, they may all be pigeonholing themselves so they can't build it any further out there. And you can always put more hallways to kind of combat that problem, but if nobody's willing to take the dive and make the hall, it's not really a dive, but it just gives you more swans. There's no points necessarily on them.
But yeah, so those hallways, they do give you more swans once completed, and they have like more options for getting you swans, because there's like one of
multicolors.
not all the colors because there's 5 colors, and that's another set collection on top of it. If you have all 5 different swan colors in play in your own little tableau area, you actually get 10 more bonus points. So that's another set collection on top of that, and there's some end game scoring that we can talk about in a second. But the swans are like, okay, so you're collecting them, so what? Well, you can they're actually currency, like I was saying. You can actually use them to buy buildings that are further down in the track, or to get some of these favors to put on here to give you other ways to get points. So like you have to spend points to get points in a way.
So actually, one of the first times I played this, there were 2 rules that we got kind of wrong. Well, one I got wrong, and then one another guy got wrong. That ultimately didn't affect the game that much. But first, I thought these downstairs rooms, I thought they were just 3 points apiece, just for putting them. But, it's like, when I was going over the scoring, I was like, oh, wait, no, it's 3 points per downstairs room you have connected to it. So, like, it was like a happy mistake. Like, oh, I thought it was just 3 points apiece, but actually it went to I get like 9 points for this one, and, and then, but this other guy, with his set collection of the swans, he like had all these off to the side, and he's like, well, I don't get any points for those. And I was like, what are you talking about? Each one of those is a point. And he goes, no, only the purple one is a point. If I have a purple and a green, it's 2 points. And I was like, oh no. It's not, again, ultimately it didn't matter because I just took his swans. I was like, no, if I rearrange them like this, you have this set, and this set, and but he was thinking that only like blues are only going to give him points if it's in a set with all other fives and stuff. Yeah. Idiot. Loser.
Yeah.
Brandon, you know who you are.
Tom just needs to be better at explaining games to people.
I guess so. Even to myself, I was like, 3 points each. And actually, like, when you look at the symbol there, I'm like, yeah, that's obviously 3 points per downstairs. Yeah.
Linked
downstairs. Yeah. It looks like an email attachment symbol.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different room types, and each room type gives you a different ability once it's completed. So you may, like, pick one that you are going to really gun to, like, finish. Even if you have to finish it by yourself, you want to finish it because of that ability. I really like to complete the yellow ones, which are kind of like the food and beverage based ones. Like this one's called the baconry. It's the bacon. But once you complete it, you get favor tokens, and those are extra endgame scoring things that you can, on your own, score if you have the least of something or the most of something. If you take them and you just put it on your board, it goes parallel with your board, and it locks out one of your ability slots. Conversely, there's the blue ones, which will give you just take one of the tiles, and you'll place it diagonally, and it unlocks an ability. There's abilities on one side that give you discounts, and then there's some end game scoring abilities that give you, like, either if you're tied, you're still going to get the victory points, or just 3 swans at the end of the game.
Well, this one's just 10 points straight up.
Yeah, so like, there's a lot of really good stuff out of that. And then there's some rooms that will just give you victory points for completing those rooms. But it can be hard, like we were saying, to complete them sometimes because other people may purposely block it off by putting a wall there while they have to connect it to something else, but while connecting it, they can turn it in a way that it blocks off your room, or they're like, you know what, we're going to flood all of the moat around this way. I'm not going to do it evenly. I'm going to just do it all around this way and make sure I cover up your stuff.
Also, the rooms with arguably better rewards have more doors, so it's harder to complete them. But like it's kind of a catch-22 though, because if somebody keeps blocking off all those doors, they're making it worse for themselves too, because there's less area for them to connect their rooms to. It adds to that avalanche effect of ending the game faster. But if you feel like you're doing well, maybe you do want to end it faster. And actually, what's funny is when I was playing, one guy was like, I want to trigger endgame as fast as I can because I think I'm doing really, really well. And I beat him. I crushed him. I won that. But I'm looking at this one here. Looks like, Aaron, did you come in second to last when you played? Did your girlfriend beat you?
Yeah, she crushed.
Man.
She likes games
crushing
like this.
You?
Yeah. I mean, when you teach a game as well as I do, everybody knows the rules. It does really well. So I think we both kind of have this minor little complaint about it, is that the iconography is kind of small. So like when you're looking out there trying to figure out, the room type or, what reward you get, they are, kind of small.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, like these little keys and the feathers or bird leaves.
Yeah.
They're, especially because you're going to have to go flip it over, so you kind of have to do this little eep, beep,
Yeah.
beep.
And for endgame scoring, it can be a little hard to look out on the board and go, okay, which ones are completed? You're looking, if they have the white border, you haven't completed them, but they kind of blend in because they're small. They could have been a little bigger, but I don't think they're not like...
I feel like it was a choice that they made, like, begrudgingly. They were like, well...
to put as many as we need in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we don't want them to, especially if they're going on this tile, and the tile's kind of small, they don't want this to cover up so much that you're moving the token around the tile so you can see the other information on the tile. But then again, okay, well, then they could have made the tiles a little bit bigger, and it could have been like a cost thing. That, if they made all the tiles 20% bigger, yeah, it would have been harder for fit on the table, or they would have had to use like 3 more sheets of punch board, and the game would have been more expensive. So I really do feel like this was kind of like the lesser of two evils. So it's hard for me to complain that much. Yeah, like even the swan tokens are pretty small. Like, and again, it is a minor thing. It's not that big a deal. It's not like we're not grandmas. It's not like we can't see it.
Yeah, they're just a little small for some people. Are gonna go, okay, wait, let me get out my magnifying. No, you're not gonna need a magnifying glass.
Nobody even has magnifying glasses anymore.
Yeah.
What are you, Sherlock Holmes? Hey, oh, jokes and comedy. I'm Tom.
But overall, I think this is a really well put together game. I like how it's kind of player controlled, how quickly the game wraps up at the end. Because you can kind of like, okay, I'm just going to keep stretching out these rooms and not complete them yet. And, get a couple of them ready to complete. And then try and complete them all at once. And then it'll just like surround with a bunch of water. Like if you complete, with later rounds, if you complete like 2 or 3 rooms with one placement, then all of a sudden you're just putting a ton of water out there and surrounding everything.
Yeah, that is a really cool way. That's a cool thing that this game has.
Yeah.
Right. The only thing though I will say is I don't think this is Bezier's best game. It's a good game. It's solid. It's one of those good but not great.
Yeah. This game's trying to compete with the tile laying game where you're building the castles.
Between Two Cities?
No. You're building... It's Carcassonne.
Carcassonne.
Yeah. Like, it kind of... It'll be on that level of, like... I mean, this is harder than Carcassonne. Like, it's definitely got more going on, but it's kind of competing with that style of game. And...
It's better than Carcassonne.
No, for sure.
I mean, I don't like Carcassonne, so I guess ultimately that's not saying much. But yeah, I'd definitely play this over Carcassonne.
So, I think it's just a style of game that's hard to be our favorite, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah, it does lean really heavily into the tile placement. A lot of the tile placement games I like are ones where like tile placement is an aspect. Like Whistle Stop, it was like you're placing a tile, but also how you place it affects where you move your train and how you pick up the resource. This is it's mostly I have this tile, which is the best tile to place in the best area for the best scoring purposes. Mostly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more than that. There's the board, the personal board makes it a lot better. If that wasn't there, that wouldn't be great. And then the kind of drafting, there's a little bit of hate drafting here. It takes stuff away from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can trash things from this row that other people want. Like, I'm going to trash that and build a hallway. And you're like, no, I wanted to build that. So there's a lot going on for a tile laying game, but it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep it, right?
Yeah.
Not lighting it on fire. We've lit games on fire before. I want you to know that.
So if you've worn out your copy of Carcassonne...
Of Corkadone.
Corky McPants. So if you played your copy of Carcassonne to death and you're looking for, a heavier game that is kind of in that same vein, it's a tile laying game, there's a lot of set collecting going on, this is a game that I highly recommend. It's a really fun game. Bezier did a good job with it. The tokens are a little small, like we said, but it's a good game. We're not going to fault it for that.
Yeah, so if any of what we said in this video sounds interesting to you, we're going to put a link to this game in the description box down below. You can go ahead and click that, buy yourself a copy, and while you're down there, don't forget to
subscribe to our channel
so you'll never be bored. Oh, man, we suck.
Does he make the bacon out of the swans, though?
Oh, it'd be gamey. It'd be real gamey. But I'm down to clown. I like Swan Meat.
Down to clown.
I'll eat anything. I ate a rabbit once. It wasn't even dead.